Here's the paraphrased version of the transcript. Banff Reserve in Alberta, Canada, welcomes spring. The forest awakens after the cold, harsh months. Green spreads across the valley. Wildflowers bloom. Birds sing to one another in the calm morning. This area was once home to many grizzly bears, but their numbers have significantly decreased over time. Currently, only one young female bear remains, named Aurora, carrying the hope of reviving the species. Aurora was equipped with a tracking collar, and ranger stations scattered throughout the country monitored her movements every day. Leading the conservation team is seasoned ranger Ethan Blake, who has lived in the Banff Forest for 30 years. One morning, a camera captured Aurora mating with a male bear from the northern forests. Good news spread across the station. Aurora is pregnant for the first time, a new hope for the entire ecosystem. Still, there was concern. She had no pack to support her. Ethan and the conservation team decided to closely watch Aurora throughout her pregnancy. After a few months, Aurora's belly had grown unusually large, raising worries that she may be carrying multiple cubs. She moved less frequently, seeking thick grass and cool crevices to rest in for hours. Thermal cameras showed Aurora digging small holes and piling leaves and hay, clear signs of pre-birthing behavior. The GPS around her neck showed she lingered too long in a small canyon surrounded by maple trees. One April afternoon, Aurora lay still for more than 20 hours, breathing softly and occasionally scratching the ground. Ethan informed veterinarian Clara Morgan, and the two set out to check on her. The afternoon was calm, the forest wet from the rain the night before. The path was covered with wild yellow flowers and young leaves. Upon arrival, the light filtered through the bushes, revealing Aurora lying on her side, her body soaked in blood. Clara quickly checked from a distance, whispering, "She is giving birth, but something is wrong." 2 cubs had been born, but Aurora was panting and convulsing, showing no signs of stopping. Ethan and Clara decided to intervene right in the forest that was slowly fading into darkness. The whole reserve held its breath, watching the dangerous birth. In the peaceful spring setting, Clara injected a drug to help the uterus contract and checked Aurora's blood pressure with a handheld device. The mother bear growled softly but didn't resist. Her tired eyes seemed to beg for help from humans. About half an hour later, the 3rd cub was born, weak, covered in fluid, and silent. Next came the 4th, its legs twitching, rolling to one side through the thin grass. Clara frowned. This was not good. It seemed there were still more cubs inside. Ethan shone his light on her abdomen, eyes wide as he saw movement. The 5th cub was on its way. The group was stunned when the 6th cub emerged, its skin wrinkled and purple. Aurora's breathing weakened further, blood seeping out beneath the thick, wet grass of the spring forest. 2 of the 6 cubs were entirely motionless, unresponsive to any touch or massage. Ethan gently held one, rubbing it with a warm towel to stimulate its heart and lungs. Clara revived Aurora while signaling for emergency equipment. The sound of cicadas echoed in the treetops, while below, a relentless battle for life continued. In the green of spring, life and death fought every second. Clara used chest compressions, while Ethan tried to warm the baby with his hands. A faint cry rang out. The first of the 2 weak cubs had started breathing again. The other remained still until Clara gently blew air into its nose through a small tube. After 10 seconds, it stirred and opened its eyes weakly. The group sighed in relief, tears filling their eyes. Aurora remained unconscious, but her vital signs gradually stabilized thanks to medication and fluids. The 2 weakest cubs, tentatively named Leaf and Clover, were taken for rescue. The other 4 were placed close to their mother, lightly covered with hay to keep them warm. Clara checked again, confirming there were no more cubs inside Aurora. The sky slowly brightened and the first rays of sunlight shone through the thick canopy. Aurora opened her eyes slowly, gently touching her head to one of the cubs snuggling against her belly. The rangers quietly withdrew, giving the mother and cubs time to rest in peace. A helicopter carried Leaf and Clover to a rescue center in the jungle south of the reserve. Doctors immediately began closely monitoring the fragile lives of the cubs. That night, Ethan stayed awake, watching the camera recording Aurora and the other 4 cubs. Giving birth to 6 cubs is nearly unheard of among wild bears in North America, he thought. Aurora recovered more quickly than expected after just 3 days she was able to walk and forage for young bamboo shoots near the cave. She cried deeply, as if searching for her 2 missing cubs. Ethan knew she missed her babies. The scent and sound were things no mother bear could forget. At the rescue station, Leaf and Clover received constant care with warm, protein-rich milk replacer. A week passed, and both began crawling, meowing, and responding well to light. Clara confirmed they could return to their mother. Ethan decided to personally bring them back to the cave area where Aurora was staying. On the way, they scattered feathers around Leaf and Clover so their mother could easily recognize their scent. As the car stopped, Aurora stepped out from the bushes, her eyes fixed on the cubs. She approached slowly, sniffing carefully at each cub placed on the grass. There was no roar, no tension, just a soft lick to Leaf's head, then Clover's. She turned back and roared softly, calling the remaining 4 cubs out of the cave. All 6 of them gathered around Aurora as if they had never been apart. The story of Aurora giving birth to 6 cubs and welcoming them back spread throughout the conservation community worldwide. Many international organizations offered financial and professional support to protect this group of young bears. Experts confirm this was the rarest sextuplets ever recorded in Canadian grizzly bears. Banff Conservation Area management expanded the surveillance area, adding automated biocameras. Aurora became a symbol of revival for the old-growth forest threatened by climate change. Leaf and Clover, once the weakest, are now the 2 fastest-growing of the 6 cubs. Ethan and Clara were honored at the National Wildlife Conservation Conference. A film crew from Europe came to document the extraordinary journey of Aurora and her cubs. Volunteers and young researchers from all over flocked to Banff to join the long-term project. Faith in grizzly bear recovery was reignited by the snowless spring. One late spring afternoon, Ethan stood on a green, grassy hill, watching Aurora play with her 6 cubs in the forest. The late afternoon sunlight filtered through the trees, casting shadows of the cubs on the damp ground. Clara stepped forward and whispered, "We've helped nature write a new chapter." Ethan smiled. It all started with the courage of a single mother. Then they fell silent, listening to the rustling of leaves, the sound of life reborn. I kept the original sentence count and structure while making adjustments per your instructions.